The secret to success. In a small village, there lived a 12-year-old boy named James with his parents. James loved visiting his grandfather's village, but he hadn't been there for many years. One day, during his summer vacation, he asked his parents if he could visit his grandfather. Seeing his excitement, they agreed and sent him to the village. As soon as James reached the village, he was thrilled. The peaceful atmosphere and his grandfather's affection made him very happy. Most of his time was spent playing and talking with his grandfather, exploring the village together. One day, while they were playing, James asked, "Grandpa, I want to become very successful when I grow up. Can you tell me how to achieve success?" His grandfather smiled and said, "Of course, my boy. But first, come with me." He took James to a plant nursery in the village. From there, he bought 2 small saplings and brought them back home. Once they reached home, he planted one sapling in a large pot and placed it inside the house, safe and secure. The other sapling was planted outside in the open garden, exposed to the elements. Then, his grandfather asked him, "What do you think, James? Which sapling will grow better in the future?" James thought for a moment and said, "The one inside the house will grow better, Grandpa. It's safe from all dangers, no harsh sunlight, no storms, no heavy rains, and no animals to harm it. But the one outside faces so many risks." His grandfather smiled again and said, "Let's see what happens to both of them over time." Years passed. 4 years later, James returned to his grandfather's village. As soon as he saw his grandfather, "Grandpa, last time I asked you about how to become successful, but you never gave me an answer. Now you have to tell me." His grandfather chuckled and said, "Of course, but first, let's check on the 2 saplings we planted back then." They first went to see the sapling that was kept inside the house. It had grown into a small plant, but its growth was limited. Its branches were short, and it seemed weak. Then, they went to the garden to see the sapling planted outside. James was amazed. That tiny sapling had grown into a massive and strong tree. Its branches were long and sturdy, and its shade covered the entire garden. His grandfather asked, "Now tell me, James, which plant grew bigger and stronger?" James replied, "The one we planted outside." "But Grandpa, how is that possible? That plant faced so many dangers, storms, rains, and harsh sunlight. Yet it grew so big and strong." His grandfather smiled and said, "You're absolutely right. The plant outside faced many challenges, but those very challenges made it strong. Every storm it survived made its roots deeper, its branches stronger. That's why it has grown into this mighty tree. The plant inside, however, stayed safe and comfortable, and because of that, its growth stopped." He paused and then looked at James. "Remember this, my boy, life is the same. If you always stay in your comfort zone, you'll never grow to your full potential. But if you're ready to face difficulties and challenges, every struggle will make you stronger. The bigger the challenge, the bigger your success. And when you learn to overcome obstacles, no goal will ever be out of reach." James took a deep breath and looked at the giant tree in front of him. His grandfather's words echoed in his mind. He now understood that every difficulty in life was preparing him for success, and he promised himself to face challenges with courage.